Welcome one and all to a shiny Sunday setting on Kentucky's northern edge. The book closes on the month of June as match week 17 and MLS Next Pro hits the foreground at NKU Soccer Stadium with heavy stakes for a pair of contestants that have been searching the soul as of late. The league's final winless side, Inter Miami 2, at odds with FC Cincinnati 2, a team who themselves have failed to get points from their last 6 games on the spin. Both hugely compelled to land the result that might revive their campaign. Howdy, folks. I'm Peyton Geller, and the team news is fresh from the press, starting out with Sammy Castellanos and FC Cincinnati 2. Gaffer as optimistic as ever that this team has the answers to get what they need going forward in their season. It will be that preferred 3-4 setup at the back. The intrigue will come at the front as the single change in the lineup the last time out against CT United will be Jack Mize coming into that attacking area. We'll see where he sets up. If he's behind a pair of strikers or if he will be part of a front three with Stefan Trilla, the danger man with 4 goals on the year off the right. Inter Miami 2 are led by Lobo Ledesma, a team that loves to operate in the tight areas, and they will match the shape in some degree of what FC Cincinnati 2 are providing today, also opting for a back three. Daniel Sumala is having a breakout campaign in the center of that back three group. And as always, Ido Zeltzer-Zubida will offer plenty of creativity in all areas. The wingback has scored 7 goals this year. The Miami 2 team that have concentrated the star power only have 3 goal scorers on the year, but those players all have plenty to offer in those danger areas. Out to the live pictures now as we prepare for what is to come, an all-important key clash in MLS Next Pro, as these two teams reckon with the opportunity to potentially flip the script on their seasons. It was never a degree of panic in conversation ahead of this match with Sammy Castellanos, who is very much so convicted in what is being achieved in his first year helming this FC Cincinnati 2 project. Even though the results have not bounced their way in quite some time, it's been nearly 50 days since they last felt the joy of all 3 points, the home side at FC Cincinnati 2. They do feel like they have everything they need to go forward and get a result today, and with that momentum, start to attack the back half of their campaign. 3 wins, 0 draws, 11 losses for FC Cincinnati 2. For Inter Miami 2, just trying to find that first big result this year, a testing campaign to date. No wins, 4 draws, 9 losses, but did get the draw last time out. A clean sheet, their first of the year against Carolina Court. That stopped a extended franchise record losing streak of 8 in a row. Sean Tahini is the center official. Decorated referee will send us underway in the blue. SC Cincinnati 2 in the pink. Inter Miami 2. And we are up and underway. A game in which sparks will fly is ignited in the state of Kentucky. One of the league's most faulty defenses. Inter Miami 2 nearly allowing 3 goals a game. See, Cincinnati 2 have struggled for offense, but are right on the front foot here. Stefan Trilla lifting in and getting on the loose end of his own initial delivery. A heavy touch out to the end line, and it's a goal kick to come. SC Cincinnati 2 have every reason to be encouraged, at least if they are to take evidence out of what transpired for them a year ago. Did end up making the playoffs. It did not look that way this time of the calendar. Had only put together 2 wins with 4 draws and 7 losses on June 28th of last year, but ended up finishing with a strong enough record to qualify for the postseason as the 7 seed. Down the stretch, had 7 wins of a total of 13 games. They do have a long throw to contend with here. Home side have been last in possession so far throughout 2026, but 90 seconds in, are knocking at the door, owning the ball in the menacing portion of the field. Long throw is dealt with. Ayub Lashar, who's been one of the standouts for FC Cincinnati too. Played collegiately at UConn and is starting to factor into the mix at the senior level. Can play outside back, wing back, and center back in a back three. It's swashbuckled wide by Jack Mize. Mosquera brought into the attack, who airmails his cross. Matthias Marine gathering the ball for the goal kick. Again, coming off his first clean sheet of the year last time out against Carolina Court. Was able to make a total of 4 saves in that game. Unable to do enough, unfortunately, in the shootout to get anything extra than the 1 point. A piercing pass ahead. It was arrowed towards Stefan Trilla, who will put some weight into a tackle as the ball ends up over the end line. And Miami, too, have been one of the more possessionally oriented teams in the league. First real dose of opportunity with the ball. Expect for much of this game to be played in this half compared to where we've seen the game operating so far. That being said, it's Stefan Trilla who senses opportunity and slides a pass ahead. It's Niang. Fails to get full purchase. It's still there, though. Trilla. Not quite sure what the plan was on that ball, but it will come off. Wide for Diver Mosquera, who loses the plot in the ends. As mentioned earlier, this SC Cincinnati 2 outfit has massively struggled for offense, only averaging 0.9 goals per 90 so far this year. Only Colorado Rapids 2 have scored less. And to that point, you just get the immediate sense that they've got the fire in their eyes to go out and get one and set the tone for this game with the way that they are hitting the accelerator early. That is deft skill in the build-up. A risk rewarded. And a ball rolling ahead. Jeremy Ortea to the end line with a chop. A chopping challenge is the result. Ayub Lashar entangled, and it will be a free kick in fine territory for Inter Miami 2. Sean Tahini forced to make her first real decision of the game. Inter Miami 2 are the only team in the division of MLS Next Pro of all 30 yet to score from a set piece this year. Primo opportunity to change that, rewrite the scripts, and get a go-ahead goal not 6 minutes in. Mateo De Paula, as well as Ortea, the ones that provide inspiration to the dead ball. Two-man wall. Connor Dale lying in wait for FC Cincinnati 2, and he doesn't have to wait very long as that one just will scream over his goal and out for a harmless goal kick. Jeku Niang holding it up well. It comes down to Jack Mize, who is decisively playing behind those two forwards. In goes Diver Mosquera, who angles to the end line and gets the end product all wrong. Colombian wide man just giving it a whack, and although there were options all about, towered it a little too tall for anybody to provide an actual inspection to the goalkeeper. Camden Spire picks it up. Spire, another player enjoying a really strong run of form in the midfield for Semi Castellanos. Team's leader in ball recoveries and many of the defensive metrics that you look for in a midfielder. Puts his head on another one. Yang throws a body in. No foul to be had. Physicality will be a key point in this one. Inter Miami, too, have been up towards the upper reaches of the division in terms of fouls all year long. Averaged just under 16 per match, the third most in MLS Next Pro. SC Cincinnati, too, have had more players sent off, red cards, than any other club in the division, with 4. 3 of those coming in the last handful of games. And this is what Inter Miami like to do. They love to invite the pressure onto them and dice with that danger, bet on their quality. It's going to be something they pay for here now, losing the ball. All the way back to Dale. And it looks like Chico Niang had checked back from an offside position there. Zach McWhirter, Eric Burton on the linos today, joining Sean Tahini's crew. Salvador Flores is the 4th official. Seeing Tahini referee at the highest degrees of the game in the United States. Welcomed entity to add the course of conduct for this contest here today. Sean Tahini. Dale. Lashar encouraged to try and get out of trouble, and he's been forced into the giveaway. Miami, too, have every recourse to go quickly. Ortea. Oh, that's slick. One cop. Unfortunately for him, the cross itself was fangless despite all of his great work to usher the opportunity in the first place. Well, that could be useful. Off the head of Niang, who's all alone. He's got a runner to his right. Just couldn't make up his mind in time. Was covered stride for stride, and when it all came down to it, didn't have the answer to the test. Senegalese striker standing 6'4", Cheku Niang, already feeling the influence of his physicality and the trouble that can cause. 2 goals for him on the year. What is now his 6th start of the season here today. You see FC Cincinnati, too, just maybe trying to invite Inter Miami into areas in which they can trigger the press where they want it. They do here to great effect. It's a save out of Marine, a second effort back across goal, and it goes sloping away. Spire back on it. In a real joust to maintain possession. The gloves come off for a moment, as it is a nearly instance for FC Cincinnati, too. First save of the game from Matthias Marine. Looked like it was Jack Mize who orchestrated the initial effort on goal. Ian Urquidy keeping it in circulation. Just climbing the ladder, moving up the field, and good combination into Miami, too. They are at their most dangerous when they're able to sneak those three midfielders into a tight, confined cordon of area. Let them play off one another. They love to draw you in and then knock you out by playing the ball long into space. Hall and Marine. It comes off a shin and out for a throw-in. I see Cincinnati 2 finally able to interrupt the rhythm that was building. I see Cincinnati 2 have had the third lowest field tilt in the league. It's an advanced metric that just measures the percentage of play that occurs in which half of the field. In their matches, on average, only about 38% has occurred in the attacking half, but that has been the opposite of what's been true so far in our game today, nearly a quarter hour in. And Miami 2 have rarely had that sojourn out of their own half of the pitch. Sumala. Back to Marine. And now they build. Fortenkamp. Things emerging as Diego Rey loses out. That's a throw-in for Inter Miami 2. That's a good pick out in the middle. DePaula, and now to the wide side. Everything is pass and move. You'll very easily pick up the first action that any Inter Miami 2 player is looking for after giving up the ball is where they might be able to relocate in a forward area. Will be a test of the focus for FC Cincinnati 2 in terms of their discipline and marking responsibility. Always curious as to whether or not a team will decide on the day to mark an opponent like Inter Miami 2 with the amount of counter movement that they sport in a man-to-man structure or zonally. Right now it looks man-to-man. Stepping up as soon as it hits the foot of Matthias Marine. Really interesting tactical battle starting to take shape. And Miami 2 with increasing influence. Well-weighted ball down the far flank. Mosquera back in front of it. Cross coming. And claimed to the line by Connor Dale. This portion of the match is brought to you by First Financial Bank, the official bank of FC Cincinnati. Well, the question we're trying to answer right now is who might score first in this one. Define the conditions of a tie that is a bit tense for two teams that are desperate to get all 3 points after a long walk in the desert. Or Miami 2, if you're just now joining us again, the only team in MLS Next Pro yet to win a game this year. I see Cincinnati 2 have failed to score in their last 4 games. It's heading into today, upwards of 418 minutes at kickoff. That number stretching now to well past 430. It may not go very further. It's Stefan Trilla chopping it back onto the right. Couldn't make it stick, but still with it. Trilla couldn't get the shape right. It looked for a moment that might break back. It got a dive out of Matthias Marine. But in the end, just a goal kick. Just seemed as if the ball initially may have gotten stuck up under the foot. Trilla. Even though he was able to pick up the pieces, couldn't end up with the first shot on target for him in this game. One of the team's best players, 4 goals for him on the year. Vortenkamp runs into a wall, and that will be beyond what is acceptable for the referee. Foul call. Skipping a line, and to that fact, doing so illegally. Offside is the call. Diego Rey. Lashar. Charlie Holmes driving. He's cut down, and it's a prime choice free kick for FC Cincinnati, too. It's come from all over. Cincy have had 8 separate goal scorers for their 12 goals this year. Might one of those milling around the box be the next to enter their name into that category? And it comes. There it goes. Well met by Inter Miami 2, who have every intent on turning defense into offense, and they have the 2v1. Well, that's just absolutely terrific defending, even with the foul. It was Ale Flores who was flashing forward and just got hawked down by Camden Spire. Even with the call, to get back in front of that and stop the locomotion towards goal. Brilliant effort by a midfielder that's devouring ground so far in this game in Camden Spire. Nonetheless, it's a free kick for Inter Miami 2. I think any coach in the world would prefer this to a 2v1 break, though. Ciantini wants to sort something occurring in and around the 18. You'll notice 2 Inter Miami 2 players starting in the offside position. They'll likely try and hop right back on as it's kicked. Headed away, and before that can even happen, the referee has seen something she doesn't like. Looked like she gave a warning, and somebody did not pay heed. "20 minutes in, Inter Miami 2 yet to register a shot. To that effect, no touches in the box as well. That's coming against 8 for FC Cincinnati 2, and they've been able to muster 3 shots from that. That being said, the glory in this game is it really does only require 1 bounce for things to shake up. A little bit loosely given away there, and leaking forward are FC Cincinnati 2, Semi Lachikar, who is streaking ahead from his natural habitat at center back. Didn't have the attacking edge, all told. Still a throw-in. Charlie Holmes will catapult it as far as he can reach. This is the vogue in the sport globally now, trying to just fabricate an extra set piece from these throw-ins. And it's a well-crafted ball that will take a skip down to Niang. Spire, faulty first touch, but ultimately fastened down. Arena needed more lift on the delivery. Well, Arena today playing in a little bit of a deeper role. Was in a more forward position last time out against CT United. Team's leader in chances created as he requests the ball into his custody. Holmes stepping over. He's got the angle he wants, but he keeps on nonetheless. He's had his defender for dinner as the ball was ducked in and summarily ducked out for a corner. Cincinnati playing with purpose and with a corner kick. At the strike of the meridian points of this first 45 minutes from Kentucky. Just about halfway expired in this first half. You see Cincinnati 2 trying to break out of that long goalless drought. Good ball. It's hit away by the goalkeeper Marine and then escorted out over the end line as it was Niang at full stretch, just trying to target it all. This portion of the match is brought to you by Mercy Health, the official healthcare partner and provider of FC Cincinnati. Mosquera got ground to make up, and he does. Could not slither three of his marker, though, and it's going to be a throw-in for Inter Miami, too. All time, it is the roadside that have enjoyed the greater lion's share of results in this matchup. They've got defensive work in front of them. Only played the one time last year. Cincinnati did take that one 3-0, but all time only 2 victories against Inter Miami 2. Roadside do have the big advantage in the series. 5 victories, 1 draw, 2 losses. This will be the only matchup this year. Down at the top of the area. And it didn't take. That being said, temperature starting to turn up for Inter Miami 2 as they have been effectively pinned into their own half of the field. Lands with a thud before being claimed only momentarily in the mid-park. Spire shooting one into a channel. It's Mosquera breezing by the first line of defense, cutting it back. Shot was never hit correctly. Spire nearly got it back, but a twisting turn as Inter Miami 2 pressing on the gas. Oh, and it's a bad ball. The run was there. The idea was as well to just try and scoop it up over the defender. Never got the foot fully around it, and the chance is gone before it can even really come to life. Charlie Holmes. Speeding away again is Mosquera. Leans by the first taker in defense. It's blocked out. Mosquera starting to find much more joy out there on the wide touch line. Trying to remind me, too, if they can't get the result here, it's not going to get any easier. Today being the first of what will be 4 successive away dates. Next up at Chattanooga FC before seeing Atlanta United 2 and then Carolina Core again. Still time to turn their season around, but they got to start. Today is a perfect day to do it. Ortea. Taking the bang there was Arena. Referee has called for a foul. Again, both these teams top 10 in the league in terms of average for fouls per game, and it has played out that way. Already the 6 shared between the two sides. So we come up on the half-hour mark. Down by Niang, but Trilla had read the bounce wrong. Hurried back to Matthias Marine. Alleviating the tension and looking downfield for Diego Ray, who was bound up, and the ball is once more with FC Cincinnati 2, and more specifically with Stefan Chirilla, who charges in a back post cross that bends too narrow for the goalkeeper to make a play. Applauding the effort. And the idea was Jack Mize, who now it looks like he's fanned out to more of a right wing position with Chirilla off the left. Mize, the hotly tipped product out of the Borussia Dortmund Academy in Germany. First season with FC Cincinnati 2, and the flag is up for offside again. This portion of the match is brought to you by Allegiant, the official airline partner of FC Cincinnati. And it's a portion we might have to wait for. So it looks like we have hit a hydration break. It is a hot one here today in Kentucky. We've seen these obviously all throughout the World Cup. Circumstances a little bit different in that regard, but nonetheless a good chance for these teams to evaluate the first half hour of play and see where they stand. Players can recharge a little bit, try and get that core temperature down, as this will be a thing of normalcy all throughout the summer in MLS Next Pro, just to ensure the maximum extent of player safety can be guaranteed. Quite frankly, I think it helps ultimately increase the level of play. Nobody wants to see tired bodies struggling to get around the field cometh the 90th minute. Well, so far, although it's been scoreless, it has been predominantly commanded by FC Cincinnati 2. They've been able to generate 4 shots. Got a couple saves out of Matthias Marine, Inter Miami 2 goalkeeper. Nothing has actually lit the lamp, but with the access to the areas that are important, I see Cincinnati 2. You just look at the territory stats, and with them having 12 touches inside the box to 0 from Inter Miami 2, that writes the script of a game that is slanting firmly in favor of the home side. We talk about possession and what it means and how maybe at points throughout the early aughts, that statistical marker was overemphasized as a metric signaling control of a game. It really is all about where you have the ball and what you're trying to do with it in those areas, and it's undeniable, despite the fact that FC Cincinnati 2 have seen less of possession, that they are commanding the game in the ways that they want to be. Many more teams in the modern cutting-edge era of the game accepting the kind of maximum play that, yes, if we sit against the ball and defend, we won't have the ball and we won't have the control because of that fact. But the counterpoint is we don't have to work as hard to create space because the other team up the field, they're already making the space for us to attack into the vulnerable area. As soon as we win it, try and counterattack. It is simply an easier, more efficient way to play. There are merits to trying to control games with the ball. Absolutely. We've seen Pep Guardiola dominate a decade of the sport doing precisely that. But in terms of ease of use, you do understand what FC Cincinnati 2 are trying to do. It's just a statistical fact that's been studied well throughout the sport that by far the highest percentage of goals in this game come within the first 8 seconds of a team taking custody of possession. From that specific barometer on, it becomes increasingly more difficult to break down an opponent that is set in front of the ball. All right, lecture time over. Game back on. Off the head of Niang. Vortenkamp able to dig it out, and that's a cheap foul to give away. They had Inter Miami 2 exactly where they wanted FC Cincinnati 2. Pinned up into that corner. Niang. Matthias Marine coolly able to work that out. And what's happened here? Was the initial free kick taken in some illegal process? Whatever it is, Inter Miami 2 have been allowed to take another free kick. High overhead. Lachikar able to win the first ball. The second duel is won by Trilla, but he used too much force. FC Cincinnati 2 might be employing the tactic of a higher line. Inter Miami 2, it's really felt consistently have struggled to get into space with the proper timing. They've already been called for 3 offsides in the match. It's always a dangerous game, playing that higher line and baiting the offside trap. Niang nodding along for Stefan Trilla, who's fended away from goal well. Still Trilla churning those legs. He's lost out on the ball. Orellana splashing in across. It lands. Trilla having a poke off a block and away. Good turn. Spire He's gotten it right back. Magnificent midfielding work. It's so crucial, especially for a young team, to cash in the purple patches in a match. You must be able to get something from those moments in which you are dominating the run of momentum. Games have been known to change in this sport. We'll leave it at that. And if you've not been able to harvest, well, you are able to rest on the laurels. Almost always comes at a cost. Miami 2 knocking it around. And slip drawing toward the final third with no final action to follow. Swept away. Looked like it was Sam Lachikar who came in with the cover. Shot from deep distance. Hammered well high. Inter Miami 2 still yet to have a single touch inside the penalty area. Niang had the initial knock on, nothing more. Inter Miami 2 suddenly starting to grow into the game just a little bit. Quickly taken free kick. Exploring the space on the far side. Runners arriving in the box at the end line. They want a corner. They won't get it. Hardly called the name of leading goal scorer Ido Zeltzer-Zubida, one of the league's highest goal scorers, with 7. That was his moment to maybe make the impact, but nothing to come to bear. Throw in for FC Cincinnati 2 here. Fortenkamp rounds the defender but runs out of runway. I see Cincinnati 2 coming up on what would be, at this point, a 9th successive half. Well, they have not seen the ball ripple in the back of the net. Well, that is a dangerous game. It's being played by Ian Urquidy. Not punished after he tried to dribble between about 3 blue shirts. And another foul was called, this time further upstream. It was nowhere close to where the foul occurred. Not sure what the plan was there. Hoisted to the far side for Zeltzer-Zubida. who tangos into the center of the pitch and now loses the ball. Niang goes down. Referee looked to see if an advantage might form. It never did, and foul given to FC Cincinnati 2. Niang offering the first point of contact, but rebound snapped upon instantly by Inter Miami. But through the pressure of Spire, they force a casual giveaway from Marine. Now Spire's calling for it. No offside on a throw-in, but the touch lets him down a little bit. Can't imagine there'll be much for stoppage time. We did have the hydration break that'll add at least a minute or two, but been a relatively free-flowing game to this point. Taken straight into a pack of Inter Miami 2 players, but a fortunate foul is given. The referee evaluates the scene. It was Leo Orena who drew the contact, and it's quickly shuffled on for Spire. Camden Spire. It's Felix Sampson queuing up into the attack. Always an option for this FC Cincinnati 2 team to allow these outside center backs to release into forward reaching regions of the field. Ayub Lachar on the charge, still running. Bodied off the ball. It was heavy contact. The referee will reach for the pocket. First yellow of the game and a free kick of serious issue, as it will be Vortenkamp who went in. And although it was likely shoulder-to-shoulder contact, when it's that aggressive, always going to struggle to win the favor of any center official. And it is Theo Vortenkamp in confirmation that will have his name be the first one taken. What is his 5th yellow of the season? It's a tasty free kick on offer. Always a challenge, as you've likely heard many a time before, to get the ball up and down over the wall from this type of proximity. But that being said, the goal is calling for a player bold enough, brave enough to trust their technique in a moment like this to change a game. And boy, do FC Cincinnati 2 need it. They have been the better side from wire to wire in this half. They have nothing to show for it, at least until now. Matthias Marine on guard. Looks like Ayub Lachar and Stefan Chirilla. It belongs to Chirilla. What a save! Matthias Marine makes sure. Sprawling out to the left-hand side and keeping it clean. He knew exactly what area of the goal his wall had taken away and where he might have to have the instincts to commit if a shot was to come. That is brilliant goalkeeping in terms of the preparation and the execution. Still a corner as we move into 3 minutes of stoppage time. Fumbled away this time by Marine, and it's stuck back. It's Niang And FC Cincinnati 2, their long walk in the goalless desert, comes to a close on the stroke of halftime. He was provided the window. He pounced, and Cheku Niang has gotten what FC Cincinnati 2 have more than earned. It wasn't the splashiest or most stylish of goals, but it's one that will mean so much to the Ohioan side. And it's 1-0. From the high heights of the save that Marine made only a moment ago to the low lows of the air that costs the first concession of the contest. And they are in the driver's seat now, the home team. That will change things massively. There's still time to change it back before the hit of halftime and the curtain fall. That being said, the equal opportunity lies with the team that's just scored as well to really put some distance between themselves and the opponent. And as I say that, it proves thoroughly untrue as we do make it to the break. Halftime arrives. So do FC Cincinnati 2, who score just at the 45th minute and make it 1-0, ending what was nearly a 450-minute goalless drought across the most recent matches. Halftime coverage is coming up here, and we have plenty to get into from all across MLS Next Pro. Coming up in our halftime show, we look ahead for a new club in Long Island, plus highlights and an upcoming schedule peek after this timeout. Stay tuned.
They say the world's game is played everywhere. This is how we play it here. Every weekend across North America. From Vancouver's mountain rain to the shores of Florida. From the City of Angels to the Heartland. The world's brightest stars light up our fields. Let's go. And our fans bring the world to life. In every language, in every city. One game, one roar. Sold out nights under lights. New soccer citadels rising from coast to coast. Every chant, every goal, another brick in a growing relief. Now, the world's biggest stage comes to our home. And when they arrive, they'll find the game's heartbeat has been here all along.
Here at the intermission, 1-0 to the home side. SC Cincinnati 2 here in Northern Kentucky. We visited with Grand Rapids last week. Now let's head to the Northeast and check in with another future club, the Island SC, in progress to their inaugural integration into MLS Next Pro. Take a peek.
It's really going to be the crown jewel of MLS Next Pro.
It's really a milestone moment when you put the last beam here on the stadium. It celebrates the hard work.
And to be able to see something like this right here in Grand Rapids is truly amazing and astonishing, but it happens with the collective muscle of the team. one thing that I've learned since moving here 5 months ago is this is what Grand Rapids does. It comes together to build something that's really going to be a civic and community asset.
I just imagine, March 27 and, there's fireworks. The starting lineup is walking out and roaring and supporters chanting and, just get goosebumps kind of seeing, what this place is going to slowly start to mean, for this city and for this community. We're excited to be able to put a product on and off the pitch that's going to represent the community well.
The biggest sporting event in the world is embracing two ideas that started here. One designed to keep the game moving, another designed to better protect the players within it. Both were first tested in MLS Next Pro.
The league launched in 2022, but prior to that, there were 4 pillars that we came around, really rallied around, where we wanted to build and drive growth. Those 4 pillars were professional development, local communities, access, and innovation. The game has been around for over 100 years, but for the most part, a lot of the rules have stayed the same, but the game has evolved so much, particularly over the last 30 years.
MLS Next Pro has been a really good proving ground for a lot of these new rules that they're bringing into effect. The players in the competition have been very open to trying out new things. We've seen some really, really good developments, and a lot of the things that have been trialed in that competition have been elevated to MLS, and now we're seeing elevated to the FIFA level as well. This was something that it was easy for them to get their heads around. But I was pleasantly surprised to see them take this on in a format that's very, very similar to what we've been doing already.
Ideas don't become rules overnight. Changing the game meant bringing people together from every corner of the sport.
I think it took a lot of courage for us to implement some of the new rules, but we knew that if we did it in an authentic way and we got information from so many different stakeholders in parts of the game, that we could do it in a safe way that would help players, would help administrators and coaches, and really would be good for the sport.
Eventually, the conversation moved from meeting rooms to match day.
Well, I was fortunate enough to be a part of the first game ever with this in MLS Next Pro in 2022, where we got an email. We had to join a webinar where we had to go over these rules, and there was great understanding of how this was going to go and overview about these 2 specific rules that we're going to have implemented specifically for MLS Next Pro. So I really thought the on-field treatment rule was an awesome implementation, because that's something that we deal with a ton as referees. It's something that causes friction, always causes issues for game management when you have players going down for injuries and calling a trainer on when it's not necessarily a serious injury. So I knew initially that was going to be a fantastic one, that was going to be helping our game improvement. And then the substitution rule we knew was also going to be one of the ones that was going to help. So I was really looking forward to doing that one and implementing that, because it's something that's game management we have to deal with.
The expectation was that there would be an adjustment period, maybe even resistance. Nobody knew how the players would respond once the whistle blew.
Players bought into it really quickly, and it was something that the entire league was able to understand it, and really you saw buy-in from everybody, and it was just really easily implemented at MLS Next Pro, and really didn't see much pushback. The biggest thing that I've seen is where players are smart enough to know if they leave the field voluntarily with our permission, they don't have to wait a minute. So if they're near the sideline or the end line or something where they say, hey ref, I just need a minute, I'm gonna go off, perfect. They can go off and get whatever treatment they need to, and they know they don't have to wait the minute. You're getting your treatment that you have, you're not implementing any of the on-field treatment rules or anything, you're just taking yourself out of it for a second. So that's where players are really coming smart to how they handle things. And then for the substitution rule, I've seen several times where I would talk to a captain and I tell him the player has to come off, and he's not, and you see a captain or a teammate pushing that player off the field, because they know that if you're not off in that 10 seconds, they don't want to play for 10 at the disadvantage that they would have.
The changes on field were obvious, and the numbers told the same story.
The data was really compelling. If you look at the numbers before the rule was implemented, on average, for those stoppages associated with injuries that are 15 seconds or more, you really were looking at stoppages in games that were 5 to 6 times per game. Once we implemented the new rules, that number went down to between 1 and 1.5 times per game. And so the data was very, very compelling that when you implemented a rule like this, it really would reduce those preventable match delays. And that was really exciting for us. But when you do the analysis in terms of number of fouls and yellow cards and red cards and some of those metrics, we found that those remain consistent whether the rule was in place or not. And that was a positive dynamic for us. And it's one of the key indicators that the rule's working.
The experiment was working in MLS Next Pro and was brought to MLS 2 years later. That success pushed these ideas to the biggest stage in the game.
It's amazing that every single law change that comes into play comes from some competition or some situation that happened at maybe it was UEFA Champions League final, or maybe it was another World Cup that inspired a rule change. So to have from our own competition, coming from North America to have a rule change come into play for me, it's special because I've been there from the very beginning. I've helped implement this from a management standpoint, so I'm excited to see how it's going to be implemented on the world stage by competitions, by referees, and by teams from around the world.
For the people who helped build it, the impact is still sinking in.
You never really understand the impact that you might have on the sport. And so to be part of MLS Next Pro and to be part of this process and leading this process as it relates to new rules and innovation has been a real shining star for me as it relates to my career. I'm just super excited and proud and grateful to be part of the process. I can't wait for the games to happen in the World Cup and to see them. These are important new rules for the growth of the game, so it's extremely rewarding, and I can't articulate how happy and proud I am.
In addition to the rules influences at this summer's FIFA World Cup, 105 players at the tournament have spent time with an MLS club, with 44 of these players developed through the MLS player pathway. Of these 44 players, 19 spent time in MLS Next Pro. Fans can get a closer look at this historic group by heading to MLSNextPro.com. Huge part of this Canadian national team, who today won their first ever knockout round, have come through that MLS player pathway as well. Plenty of progress in the developmental aspect going on around the game in this country, as our game is 1-0 at the half. FC Cincinnati 2 trying to get back in the win column against Inter Miami 2. There's plenty of action coming up as we move into the month of July, though, as we take a glance at what the docket is shaping up like on the 4th of July weekend. And you can see Inter Miami 2 in action on the road at Chattanooga FC on the 4th of July, as the nation celebrates its 250th birthday on Sunday. It will be FC Cincinnati 2 up against the reigning champs New York Red Bull 2 at 6 p.m. Eastern again. That is July 5th. FC Cincinnati 2 trying to get a win here and then maybe get a big result against the New Yorkers in their next game. Halftime coming to a close, but first we get a chance to look at some of the highlights of the half. That was, and the big one coming at the very last instance of the half, but as FC Cincinnati 2 has the advantage, they are in a position where they can celebrate that goal that they got just before the break, coming from Taeku Niang. We set to step aside now. The second half is approaching.
fun season of MLS Next Pro. Oh my! Pedrinho wins it!
Play just about set to spark back up between SC Cincinnati 2 and Inter Miami 2. The home side had the advantage as they front just out of halftime by way of Cheku Niang, who got on the end of a rebound and poked it home. That is where we sit. An all-important match for both these teams. Inter Miami 2 trying to claim a victory for the first time in league play this year. FC Cincinnati 2 trying to wake back up after losing their last 6 in a row. Again, Peyton Geller here to bring you all the breadth and width of the game that has been and is to come. Inter Miami 2 on the back foot. They'll be encouraged to maybe come into the game a little bit more. For an SC Cincinnati 2 side that have held the average lowest possession in MLS Next Pro to date. More than comfortable sitting in and absorbing the pressure. Both teams unchanged out of the halftime dressing room. Back from Matthias Marine, who's put under duress, and after making that error at the end of the half, always a good thing for a team to test the confidence of a goalkeeper after a folly has cost his team so dearly as it did for Marine at the end of the first 45. They force him into the giveaway there. Pressure eventually did break pipes despite plenty of struggle in that area of play for FC Cincinnati 2. It wasn't the prettiest goal, but it is a goal that is beautiful to them after how much they struggled on the offensive ends. Only 12 goals on the year coming in. They were the lowest scoring team in the Eastern Conference a year ago and did make the playoffs that way. We're much more proficient in front of goal in 2025, that being said. Sky over the top, and we're looking for the knock-on of Zelcher Zubida. Never came, and it's thrust straight out of play. Striking out down the far side, Inter Miami 2. Oh, that's a well-crafted ball, and despite having to have watched most of the game to date, and the offside is called. A good reaction from Connor Dale, sensing the danger and dealing with it. That is the 4th offside call already in this game for Inter Miami 2. Miami 2 have been called for about 2 offsides per 90 this year, but they've already doubled it here in this game. Likely an indication that it is FC Cincinnati 2 that are timing things up with a high line, executing the offside trap. Sammy Castellanos, who was so positive about his team and the direction of travel heading into this game, said to me in the build-up that regardless of the results, they know the processes are good, and this was always going to take time to line this project back up towards what they were hoping to achieve. Put plenty of players into the MLS side as it was an emerging run. That lifted the anxiety for a moment from this FC Cincinnati 2 team. The goal scorer Niang is down behind the play. And Miami 2 have no imperative to stop moving towards goal, while FC Cincinnati 2 are down the man. Seltzer Zubida in for Tyler Hall. Got that 4v3 overload there, but Diver Mosquera dives in and snatches it back. And now stretches his legs, flying up the touchline. He's a blur. Tyler Hall doing just enough to put him off so that Daniel Sumala could come over and tidy up. And now Niang can be attended to. It is a blistering hot day here today in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Coming cold out of the dressing room straight into the game. You just wonder if you might be dealing with a little bit of cramp. Play is stopped while he is attended to in the center of the field. FC Cincinnati 2 have plenty of options on the bench that they could call up if required. They've given a lot of experience to a lot of different names in and around the organization. 28 total players have seen the field this year in the first half of the campaign for FC Cincinnati 2. But considering how singular Cheku Niang is and his physical frame and profile and what that does for the other players that kind of orbit him in the attack, this would be a big loss if he can't continue. Just being worked out right now, and he does seem to be in some significant distress. Back to his feet with some assistance. Senegalese striker, who's already scored once in this game, is off with a wobble. Matias Vasquez is being readied in the technical area. You got to see Sammy Castellanos providing some instruction to him. Honduran striker with 1 goal, 1 assist on the year will make his 9th appearance in reserve duty of Cheku Niang, whose day is done. Not even 50 minutes in. Didn't really get a good vantage as to precisely what happened to cause the injury, but the results is really all that matters at this point in terms of its relevance to the game, and hopefully Niang is okay. This won't affect the rest of his season, but for now in this game, the duties of leading the line fall to Matias Vasquez. Spire going down in the heap, and the whistle is one. And Miami, too, if there is any encouragement in how this game has proceeded so far, have not often been shut out this year. Last match was the first time, in fact, against Carolina Core, that 0-0 draw, that they had gone without a goal for 90 minutes across the 6 prior matches, had gotten one. So there is every indication that they might have what's required in this game to level it. As for now, they are trying to defend, and the shot will be fizzed wide off a save from Matthias Marine, or maybe not. It's going to be a goal. Inter Miami 2, having just watched their opponent make a change, will make one as well. Nash Dearnan making his 6th appearance of the year. They've all been cameos as Theo Vorenkamp will come off. That might be informed by the fact that Vorenkamp had a yellow card earlier in this game. So his day is done, and there's a new right wing back on for Inter Miami 2 as they chase the game. Bit of a blind giveaway, and after a somersault in the middle, it does wriggle through for Inter Miami 2 to keep it. At the feet of Matthias Marine. I see Cincinnati 2 now that they have the players they need in the attacking half go meet him, but have maybe rendered some opportunity on the other ends. Grabbed up by Sammy Lachikar, who's now lost the ball. Urquidy. Fanning wide. That's a brilliant tackle. Ayub Lashar was not content to allow Inter Miami 2 to encroach on the goal any further. He's really been wonderful so far in this game and really the season at large. Ayub Lashar, the first-year pro. Foul called. Lashar, part of a couple players that are currently participating in a bit of a pilot program for FC Cincinnati 2. Just bringing on what they're calling a personal development coach. What the aim of that is that that coach will work with the select few players in an individualized session with a curriculum, rehearsing specific in-game actions with those players chosen prior to the training session with the full group, in which some of those actions might be rehearsed, and we're talking down to the most minute detail. Like, an example might be, how do you receive the ball on the half turn in a specific area of the field? What do you do then? How to play out of those situations, and just a really good piece of evidence that FC Cincinnati 2 understand the assignment in regard to MLS Next Pro and its use as a developmental tool. Left a little bit shallow by Camden Spire, and foul is called, and it will be a yellow card. Spire goes into the book for leaving a lump on the Inter Miami 2 player. Back to his feet. And it looks like we're prepared to carry on. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ball & Gainer, the official wealth management partner of FC Cincinnati. That is precisely what the home team are trying to do. Manage the wealth that they've won maintain the 1-0 advantage for the rest of the game. A match that is starting to quickly dwindle. This first period of the first half has flown right on by. And Miami 2 with about a half hour to save themselves. Mosquera marauding wide and bringing in Jack Mize, who has every opportunity to cross and does, but leaves it too close to the keeper. FC Cincinnati 2 have been living in those nearly dangerous areas, but so often have, in their attacks, failed to actually put something on target. Only goal they've scored to date basically came from a self-inflicted error by the goalkeeper. Matthias Marine, and Sean Tahini has seen Jack Mize down at the end line. She's telling him he has to come off the field to get medical attention. And now they bring the physios out. So with Mize off the pitch, we'll see if the referee chooses to allow play to start back up. With FC Cincinnati 2 now hobbled down to 10 men. And a change will be made. That's the end of the line for Jack Mize. Giovanni Marioni coming in, player that's been with manager Sammy Castellanos for some time, having worked with him with the Chicago Fire FC Academy prior to joining up with FC Cincinnati 2. And that's an important piece of context for the rest of this game. That substitution coming. Not only was Jack Mize pretty good in his performance an hour in, but beyond that, because there have been 2 injury-related subs for FC Cincinnati 2, they've used only 2 substitutions, but have used up 2 of their 3 allotted windows. So if they are to make any more alterations, they all have to come at the next moment they make the substitutions. See if that leads to a triple change. And to take it 1 degree of interest further than that, that probably pushes back when FC Cincinnati 2 can make those changes realistically. Because if they make all 3 in one go, or even if they don't, and then there's another injury beyond that point, they'd be forced to continue on with only 10 players. Just an interesting Ant Farm view, a glimpse into the game, inside the game. And something that will, given the sweltering heat and the exhausting conditions, without doubt, color the rest of this game as I see Cincinnati 2 try and soldier on and get a much-needed win. Oh, that is a bit of a hospital ball. Onto it is Mosquera. Connor Dale just lifting one out to the far touchline. Here Miami 2 will chomp down and take it back. And it does not stay on enough for them to conjure any threat. Inter Miami 2 starting to assert some degree of possessional control of the game. Coming off that substitution that brought on Jack Mize moments ago, or brought off, I should say. In response to that, it looks like Inter Miami 2 are prepping a pair of changes in their own right. This portion of the match is brought to you by Skyline Chili, the official partner of FC Cincinnati. just at a glance, it looked like Matias Acevedo as well as Rondell White were the two Inter Miami 2 men that were just about ready to be inserted into the game, and those players will come on now. Acevedo was one of the players that stepped out of the starting 11, one of 3 changes from that game against Carolina Corp. A very exciting attacking 10 type. Just now joining up with Inter Miami 2. Rondell White stepping into the defense. Matthias Marine is in an uncomfortable position, and he is let off the hook by Matthias Vasquez. That is the end of the line for Ito Zelso Zubida as well for Inter Miami 2. So expect Rondell White to likely camp out as the near-sided wingback. Jeremy Ortea clearing out for Acevedo. Hemmed into their own half, Inter Miami 2 just starting to maybe move through the teeth of that press. Across midfield finally. And now they give it away. A chomping challenge in on the back of the leg of Matthias Vasquez. The referee seeing no reason to allow any kind of advantage to transpire, and will be a free kick. On the trot, it's Sampson ushering wide. Mosquera, first time ball. Not nearly enough venom there. Slammed high. It comes down to Acevedo. And thrashed out. Well won by Lachakar. See Cincinnati 2 counter-pressing. Nearly able to clean up and get it back, but they've lost it now. Sloan Morrison up from center back. Miami 2 starting to create those triangles that are so customary to their game, but possession trades hands. Charlie Holmes. Lachakar. Ayub Lashar. That's quite well done by FC Cincinnati 2 on the ball. Stefan Trillo with maybe a little bit more freedom to move around the front three now. A little bit late on the crossing effort, but put back in by Spire. Mosquera. Riding right through the tackle is Sammy Lachakar. In for Trillo, who has plenty of runway. Fancies a wide ball. Architecting the attack, FC Cincinnati 2. It's just late. Clipped away. Only as far as Arena. Now Spire sneaking in for Chirillo, who could not soften his first touch enough. Needed that ball to go to sleep at his foot to turn himself into dangerous shape. That's a clean regaining of the ball. A soft spot just out of the back line. Driving ahead and still coming. Late tackle. Wins the day. That was the very last moment an intervention could have been possible for Inter Miami 2. Pulled off the final seam. Sloan Morrison. And in truth, it really looks like Sloan Morrison has maybe stepped up to wingback with Rondell White going to the right side of the back three. Acevedo. That's a terrific ball in behinds. Cross is creamed out of play. Taken short. Dale sends it skyward. Lands on a hop and sent back to goalkeeper Marine by Rondell White. This portion of the match is brought to you by Ohio Cat, official partner of FC Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati 2 coordinating their press. Inter Miami 2 march to the attacking end again. Only 2 touches inside the attacking 18-yard box for them. Only 1 shot. A well-connected 1-2 and a wingless ball in behind. Spire, a sweet half turn. They're biting at the heels. Spire will save the day. The ball had gone beyond the grasp of Charlie Holmes, who has moved into more midfield position after starting the game out wide. Lashar lazing a ball into a dangerous area, a clattering tackle. It's a free kick for FC Cincinnati 2. It's going to be at least a discourse between Sean Tahini, the offending player for Inter Miami 2. It seemed as if Stefan Trillo was the one who took the blow. And this is big because if FC Cincinnati 2 are forced to make another change here, they will be out of substitution windows for the rest of the game. That being, in any instance, that's not the FC Cincinnati 2 player having a head injury, which makes a extra substitution available to both teams. Fortunately for all involved, it does not look like reinforcement will be required here, though. And it will be a free kick. Don't think the angle's there for an attempt directly on goal, but crazier things have happened. A buzz around the box ahead of this set-piece opportunity. Maybe a chance to throw a potential knockout blow, at least a knockdown blow for FC Cincinnati 2 if they can double their advantage. Matthias Marine has not been very thoroughly examined in this half. In goal. Daniel Sumala was booked there for the foul that rendered this opening for FC Cincinnati 2. It looks like an outswinger might be the offering. And just in saying that, they'll change out the taker. Within swing, right into the heart of the 6 and dumped outside the 18 by Inter Miami 2. Chirilla taking it down. And crowded off the ball, and he leaves a stud out. That's going to be at least a foul. Could be more. Inter Miami 2 are going to make a couple more changes. Mateo Saha, one of their leading lights and top goal scorers last year and this, 4 on the campaign for him. He'll come on up top to try and offer that zest of attack that's been so direly missing in this game. Zidane Cadet, the 16-year-old, also flushed into the contest for the final quarter hour and change. Ale Flores makes the spot and provides the opening in midfield for Cadet to come in. And Diego Rey is exited as well. The imperative belongs to Inter Miami 2. They are well within reach, but they have yet to really stretch out to try and meet this moment yet in the attacking sense. Belted in cross. It'll stand there for a moment. The header was open, and the goalkeeper put in an awkward placement, forced to just tap it over the bar for a corner. That is much better from Inter Miami 2, and a signal of how quickly it can come against the grain. Again, they're the only team in MLS Next Pro yet to score from a set piece. They've got something choreographed on now. Top of the box. Shot ripped in. Hits the bar. The woodwork reverberating as it is clashed clear momentarily by FC Cincinnati 2. Now sifted wide. Inter Miami 2 on the hunt for the equalizer. Nothing more than a waft of the scent of what they require in that moment, but they're still going. That was too close to comfort for FC Cincinnati 2. That long-range effort dipping down so dangerously before it clapped straight onto the bar. Acevedo, he's shifty as he crafts away wide. Clean 1-2. They've got the groove now. Pulls clear by Spire. Defensive work is not done yet. Another tackle by Camden Spire. And a hammering challenge. The referee reached for the pocket initially. See if Acevedo is actually given the yellow card. Doesn't look like that'll be the case. And maybe in an effort to cool things down, both proverbially and literally, the referee will allot for a second half hydration break. I'll tell you this, FC Cincinnati 2 will be welcoming this opportunity to collect themselves as they found themselves under a scrutiny in the last 3 minutes or so. That was completely foreign to the game that preceded it. Inter Miami 2 had just been without any kind of attacking ingenuity and inspiration for 70-plus minutes in this game. Flipped the switch, saw themselves in a dangerous area, and not once but twice really put a scare into the team from Ohio. They'll probably be a little bit upset that they can't continue that momentum now. And this will be an interesting challenge of the strategic approach for Sammy Castellanos with the only one remaining substitution window. His team may be starting to struggle just a little bit to keep their grip. Is this when he pulls the ripcord and makes the changes? He's having some degree of discourse with Sean Tahini, the referee, right now. Again, FC Cincinnati 2 with 2 individual injury-related substitutions earlier in the first half has left them with 3 changes they can make. They all just have to come at once because they have no more substitution windows. And once more, it might be well worth restating. If they do that, and there is an injury outside of those substitutions, FC Cincinnati 2 would not be able to replace that player, would have to continue down to 10 men. Both teams desperately need to get at least something from this game. Inter Miami 2 still winless, in a precarious position as they round the bend into the back half stretch. FC Cincinnati 2 still firmly convicted in the process, despite a really rough run of results, having not won a game in nearly 50 days now. They've done enough to where if they can hold their nerve, they'll end that drought right here and right now. A 10-minute stretch of game plus stoppage time that will be tinged by no other flavoring more significant than desperation. Tilting in towards goal. Did it take a scuff off an Inter Miami 2 player? Matters not. Matthias Marine will keep it in play. And a question to be answered as to whether or not Inter Miami 2 can resume with the same kind of bounce in their step that they had heading into the hydration break on the ball. Shifting back to Marine. Sumala picks out his pass to Acevedo, who's lost the ball. Very clean tackle from Felix Sampson upfield. But he commits a foul in trying to get it back. Rather, actually just lost the ball. Flat out for a throw. Sloan Morrison, scoping switch. If it gets there, it would be a great ball, and it does. Driving ahead towards the box. FC Cincinnati 2 all out of sorts defensively. Acevedo. And it's going to scribble out for a corner. It was Camden Spire who put in another tackle. Matthias Acevedo. He's been the one who's changed things in its complexion in the game for Inter Miami 2. Since he's come on, they've looked much more dangerous. It would be quite the time to score their first corner kick goal of the year, Inter Miami 2. Compelled and curving in a ball to the back post, headed away by Spire. And scrapes into toe, but only for a moment for FC Cincinnati 2. They have another throw-in to endure. Scrambling into the counterattack. Doesn't quite come off. But it's been recklessly given away to Mosquera. Heavy first touch taking him away from goal, but back on course. Mosquera off the back heel, not on the same page with Orellana. And that might leave FC Cincinnati 2 a little bit overexposed here. Bouncing ball to the other end. On the full gallop, it's Inter Miami 2. Raiding forward, looking for the equalizer. What a tackle. Another one, and a foul is called. Leg was left out. Free kick on the way. And this is in prime real estate. Exhaustive match. Coming to a close, and Inter Miami 2 at full bore. Pistons pumping to the finish line to try and save this. It's Acevedo. Matías Acevedo on only his 4th appearance for Inter Miami 2, going for goal and a skipping stone wide, but it's because it was blocked off the wall. Corner kick on the way now. High lifting ball to the back post. And again, it's stuck away by Spire, who goes in for another tackle, this time losing. The teammate has his back, and a foul is leveled in. An immense match by the midfield of FC Cincinnati 2. Namely Camden Spire, who's covered an immense amount of grounds. 6 ball recoveries in the game, 2 clearances. Really feels like that might be shortchanging him a little bit in terms of the bookkeeping. On a rainbow arc and into a pocket of space in behind. Acevedo lifting up to give it a challenge. The referee's going to give a foul. I don't know how you can begrudge the defender in that moment. Just stood his ground as Acevedo threw himself into him. In fact, actually, it's a throw-in for Inter Miami too. Urquidy deferring. This is exactly where FC Cincinnati 2 would love Inter Miami to just knock the ball around. Rondell White, Matthias Marine, and that press is going to be much more hesitant to come up and engage the ball now. Hall. Strong dribbling out of a tight area. It was DePaula. And now it's Urquidy and into the middle. Thefted by FC Cincinnati 2. And recovered right back by Inter Miami 2. Did have the hydration break in this half and a couple of injury pausations, so wouldn't be surprised if stoppage time is approaching at least 4 or 5 minutes. Nonetheless, there's not much left in the top half of the hourglass for Inter Miami 2. If it is equalized by some measure in this game, it will go to penalty kicks. There is an FC Cincinnati 2 player now down again. Back behind the play is Cincy were trying to work out. And now the referee has spotted that fact and will stop the contest where it is. There was a hard challenge in there. Game has remained relatively clean, albeit very physical. Only players on the pitch that are on yellow cards, one apiece. It's Sumala for Inter Miami 2 and Camden Spire for FC Cincinnati 2. Grand total of 25 fouls shared between the two teams. A little bit below the season average for both squads. 12 and 13 respectively. Mosquera. See if FC Cincinnati 2 just dumped this straight into the corner. or if they are bold enough to try and just win the game outright here. They get a foul throw. That could be the only thing that the linesman was raising the flag for there, and that appears to be the case. Don't see that very often. And it looks like FC Cincinnati 2 are going to make that final change. Appears it might only just be the one. As Noah Gasson will be guided into the midfield to add just another set of fresh legs. And is this Ayub Lashar who's struggling? It is Lashar coming out, who's been mammoth today at the left side of that back three. Gasson is more of a midfielder by trade. So curious as to whether or not this is a signal of a changing of shape, or if another player will be thrust into action in the back line. Only time will tell, as we will find out precisely how much more that there is left here, with the board about to go up in about 30 seconds. Drop ball will send us back in motion. Inter Miami 2 clearly playing pursuant. They got to get a goal back. Jae-Kun Yang, the point of difference, his goal just of half time, is what has separated the sides. Eight minutes of stoppage time. Acevedo rifling one into the area. On the drive, Acevedo in a pocket of oxygen, still taking on all comers. What a run this is turning out to be. Acevedo still left it off. Shot is saved. At point blank. Connor Dale with nothing to do all day. Gets it done in stoppage time. Inter Miami 2 still on the front foot. That was a mind-boggling run from Acevedo to just open up a tilt of a chance. And Connor Dale did what was required. A game that has been stale from its outset in many regards comes to life that quickly. And it's still 1-0. This much is becoming quite obvious. Inter Miami 2, in the Argentine that they have loaned in from Racing Club, have a serious player potentially in Matías Acevedo. Clank. Off the seating and out of the stadium as play proceeds inside the four white lines. Well, this is good stuff on the ball. Another arresting tackle from Camden Spire. And FC Cincinnati 2 sent space. Scrambling ahead, Sharilla taking off his toes. They both want it so bad, it's becoming quite obvious. Strain defining the tie. Acevedo, the pressure changes as soon as the ball finds his feet. Rondell White hoisting one into the box and had not read the same script as his teammates. 5 minutes left now. You can be quite sure that Connor Dale will extract as many of them in these precious seconds as he can before sending long. Now, it is important to note, goalkeeper wastes too much time, takes more than 8 seconds after recovering the ball. It does instantly become a corner for the opponent. That's at the discretion of the referee. Just something to maybe hide away in the back of your minds as we head down this final stretch. Acevedo showed too much of the ball to Mosquera, who's committed a foul and will get a yellow card. Acevedo still down. This is, at first glance, maybe not that significant. Inter Miami 2, though, provided the luxury to really commit extra numbers forward here for a deep delivery. All they need is one knockdown and one bounce, and they're right back level. Now everybody, it seems, starts to understand that fact as they commit the numbers ahead. A very familiar moment in this sport. Into the mixer it goes. Acevedo, not nearly enough height. It's still there for Inter Miami 2, though. More than halfway made through the stoppage time allotment. Matthias Marine, ball at his feet, game at his feet. Acevedo, all the green grass that he could want as he lines up his approach. Bit of a heavy touch, but still there, away by Spire. Only 2 Inter Miami, 2 players to aim at in the area. That's just not enough right now. The urgency wears pink. And also wears 48. Acevedo has lost his footing. Instinctively just reached out and grabbed the ball back, though. Gasson pouncing and pushing out with fresh legs. Now he's got company. Chirilla, Mosquera, the spare man, cutting into the box. It's Vasquez. Chirilla toward the corner flag. A marvelous defensive intervention. Who wants the ball? That's Rondell White. That extinguished about another 20 seconds from the game. Up and over, Connor Dale. Knocked down in the middle, Gasson. Called for the foul, probably the best case scenario for him. Had lost the ball, and for kicking it away, he'll be given a booking for delaying the restart. It's an automatic yellow, no doubt about it. But honestly, a trade that Gasson will likely make, considering the amount of time that comes off the clock and the fact that it allows his team to confirm that they'll be back behind the ball. So a yellow card again for Noah Gasson. And this will be everybody forward, maybe the last chance for Inter Miami 2 coming here. The doors of the Last Chance Saloon, they're swinging. Another deep delivery. Driving ahead, FC Cincinnati 2. They want to end this thing. Still running. And a hobbling tackle at the touchline and a foul awarded. That might get it across the line. Gut-busting effort by everybody involved in blue, but more specifically by Stefan Trill out there. Rather, that was actually Giovanni Marioni. We're past the 98th minute. The referee having a look to the watch. One last go of it for Inter Miami 2 to maybe salvage something. Lobbed in. It's going to end up just outside the box. Connor Dale had to make a choice. And his choice will be the final one of the game. It is FC Cincinnati 2. An intestine-twisting 90 minutes of play that required everything from them to get all 3 points. But finally, the Ohio side will taste victory for the first time in over 49 days. The man of the match is the one who won the match. And of course, is Jae Yang, as his goal made it 1-0. And that was, all told, all there was to it. Presented by Adidas, as it would come off the error of Matthias Marine on the second instance of a corner kick in the 45th minute, +2. Stuck back in the easiest finish that Jae Yang will probably have all year, but there was nothing easy about what this game required of FC Cincinnati 2. And that's all there was in it. As the final bell tolled, 1-0 for FC Cincinnati 2, who get a spirit-lifting win over Inter Miami 2, who will have to continue to soldier on looking for their first victory of the 2026 year. Our entire MLS Next Pro broadcast crew, I'm Peyton Gallagher. Don't forget, you can watch MLS Next Pro all season long at MLSNextPro.com and OneFootball. But for now, folks, happy trails from Northern Kentucky. We'll talk to you soon. The final score, 1-0.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.